Good afternoon. This is Adam Small with Agent Sauce, and this is the Real Estate Marketing Podcast. With me today is Doug Carr of DK New Media. How you doing today, Doug?
I'm here.
You're here.
I am here.
Well, that's good. Good to know. Good to know. So listen, I was thinking about this. Over at Agent Sauce, we send one email a month for our customers.
Wow, that's good.
On their behalf, and I'm often asked, how often should I be sending an email? So I thought that'd make a great topic for today's podcast. What do you think?
Email frequency.
Yes, absolutely.
101.
There you go. So is there a hard and fast, this is how many times you need to send an email in this period of time? No. So it all just depends, right? And actually, I know the answer to that. I agree. It's definitely it depends on your content. It depends on your audience.
Yeah.
And it depends on what your objective is, right?
Yeah.
So, let's take the Martech Zone blog.
Yeah.
I know that you use CircuPress and you send a daily email, and in addition to that, you also send a weekly email, right? So why does that work for your blog?
I really like it because it provides a choice. So there's some people that really want to see a daily. They don't want to miss out. They want to see what article posted yesterday, and so they'll subscribe to the daily. But then there's other people that they just want the weekly digest and the wrap up. And so I like the idea of being able to have someone choose. And our list is, I would say, on a weekly basis, probably about 30% sign up for the daily email, which is surprising.
Yeah, that's really good. So given that, then the nature of your blog is really informational and news related, right? I say news, Martech news, marketing technology news, right?
Yeah.
So because of that nature and the fact that you're providing a choice for daily versus weekly, you're able to get away with a little bit more frequency of sends, right?
Well, yes and no, right? Yes, for the people that want it daily.
Well, because they're opting in for the dailies, right?
I think let's put it this way. If I had just said, you know what, I'm going to switch everybody over to a daily email, I think a lot of people would unsubscribe that didn't want that. They wanted the weekly digest. They didn't want to get bothered every single day.
Right. Yet another piece of mail in the inbox that they've got to look through and see if there's anything relevant. Yeah.
I always go to, look at your own behavior, right? If it's a daily deals email, you want it, right? Because every day you don't want to miss a deal. But if it's a, I don't know, a retirement account update,
right?
You don't want that every day. You want that
because
once a month.
It really doesn't matter on a daily basis, right?
Right, exactly.
So it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting conversation to have with real estate agents in particular, because, I'll tell them, don't send something daily. I think that's generally a bad idea for a real estate agent, right? But, we have those outliers that prove me wrong.
Yeah.
I can think of two off the top of my head. One actually sends multiple emails a day.
Wow.
And it blows my mind because the emails going to somewhere around 1,500 people. It's always the same group of people, that sort of thing. And you would think there would be tremendous opt-outs and, really poor open rate and all that because you're just overwhelming these people is what you would think looking at it. But they actually get an open rate, between 30 to 40% on every email.
Jeez, that's awesome.
And I say every day, it's really 5 days a week is what it is. So close enough to every day, right?
But obviously they're providing something of value. They're setting expectations. They're not changing their frequency from fast to slow and fast again. So, they're probably doing some real
consistency there.
Yeah, some real consistency. So I think for me personally, that would be overwhelming because I think I have 400 unread emails right now.
Well, not only that, just the amount of work that goes into creating, 3 or 4 emails a day, 5 days a week is pretty daunting in and of itself, But they do a good job with it. And then we've got another customer that and I never would have bought into this dream, but they send recipes on an almost daily basis, and they get an extremely high open rate.
Wow.
And again, I think that comes back to knowing your audience, like you were saying, setting the expectation and what your audience is wanting, right?
That's really intriguing, because the interesting thing to that is how it's a little bit off topic, right?
Right.
It's not talking about real estate, but what you're really doing is connecting with that homeowner and just on a frequency level, you're staying top of mind and aware. That's pretty cool.
Right. Wow. Really, really great idea there. So insofar as the thing is, I don't necessarily suggest everybody do that, but for this particular person's list and their sphere and the people that they're working with, it works, So,
yeah.
And I would never have thought, if somebody had come to me and asked me up front, I probably would have said that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I would have been wrong, right?
I get, there's one email like that I get. There's one called CB Insights, and it's tech and startup and everything else. But the guy really takes his time writing it every day, and he makes it funny.
Yeah.
And so every day it's a little bit of entertainment, and it breaks the monotony of the day.
Right.
And so that's one that I tell everybody, you got to subscribe to this,
Right. But I remember you telling
everything
me to
else
subscribe
is,
to it.
If it's once a day, I'm usually unsubscribing.
It's overwhelming, right? So yeah. Okay.
Regardless of the value of it.
Right.
And that's I think for your audience, that's probably, if I was a real estate agent, I would work on, what am I actually writing in these emails, and is it worthwhile?
Right.
Like a recipe a day is pretty interesting, because it's unique. It's a good find, for people that are cooking
for the right audience.
For the right audience.
Right.
And so that's one thing. So they're doing a good job from that. If it was, I'm showing this house on, West Street, and then the next day I'm showing this house on East Street, and I'm
right. Well, that gets kind of back into the concept that you have about social media, insofar as, don't tell me all the activity you're doing.
Yeah.
Show me the good stuff, right?
Well, show value, right?
Show value.
The recipes are of value.
Right, and that's actually something I was going to touch on, because you actually mentioned two things here just in the last couple of minutes. The first thing you mentioned was consistency, and the other thing you mentioned is value, and so we'll touch on consistency in just a minute, but value, I think, is something that people sorely underrate, right? When you're sending emails, make sure that what you're sending is information of value, plain and simple, because if it's not, you're going to have terrible open rates and all that. And then it comes back to when you start talking frequency of emails, are you able to convey value while still maintaining that frequency? A different recipe on a daily basis, probably so. Market stats on a day-to-day basis, probably not.
Right.
Because it doesn't change that much.
Right. Exactly.
So make sure that whatever you're working with has value, real value to the person reading it. And again, getting back to value, it doesn't have to be a physical something or a freebie or anything like that. It's information is value. I still remember the drill instructors from boot camp pounding into our head, knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing, information is value. So
yeah, and it might be even interesting, like that person that's doing the recipes, just going down that kind of theme, right? Is what about when to plant stuff in your garden, when to do maintenance on your house, when to all of those different things that you could really have a pretty cool email that goes out every day, and maybe every year it's the same email on the same day, right? The April 30th.
A never-ending drip. Hey, it's spring cleaning time. Make sure you change your batteries on this day and your smoke alarms and that sort of thing, right?
Right, and if I look at that, boy, that might even work for me. Maybe I would pay attention.
Yeah. So interesting there. So the other thing that you had talked about, you mentioned the other word was consistency.
Yeah.
And you even used the example, you're really fast at one point, then you slow down real slow and then pick back up. I think consistency is probably one of the greater keys, even over frequency.
I agree.
Because even one a month, as long as you're consistent once a month, you're getting in front of that person and they're seeing that, and they kind of have that set expectation, as opposed to, you send one this month and then next month you send 4 or 5 or even 6, and then you wait 2 more months before you send another one.
Right.
Once you blow out that consistency, it becomes erratic, and you lose the effectiveness of your overall email marketing campaign.
When it's tough that, if someone learns to live without your email for a couple weeks because you went on vacation or something, and then you come back from vacation and pop up an email they didn't miss it. So they go, I don't even read this thing. Let me unsubscribe.
Right.
And so to me, it's almost like a domino effect that yes or no, they may subscribe or not subscribe. But then all of a sudden, if you haven't written one in a long time and 2 months, 3 months goes by and you write an email, the worst thing is, like spam complaints.
Right.
That people
you get a spike.
People won't even remember that they were opted into it, and all of a sudden you'll get a spike. One tip on consistency that I would put out there that's good is letting people know how often they're going to receive the email. Like that lady that I'm sure if her sign up form says, hey, sign up here to get a daily recipe, guess what? Nobody's going to be upset that they get a daily recipe.
Right. They're not going to sign up and then go, well, why am I getting this daily?
Yeah, exactly.
So by setting the expectation up front, you end up, only getting people that really understand what you're going to get.
Yeah.
I say that you really what you do is you minimize the people that misunderstand.
Exactly.
Because you'll still get people that go, why am I getting this daily without fail?
But
at the very least you put it out there and so it helps kind of pre-qualify, if you will, those that are opting
set expectations for people. Hey, this is a monthly email.
Right.
So this is a weekly email, and that way they know what they're getting into.
Right. So all right. So good conversation. Enjoyed that. So
we should have it more often.
You think?
Did you get that? That was a joke. Frequency,
consistency. Yeah.
Sorry. It wasn't that funny. I'm sorry.
It's kind of like a dad joke. Anyhow. So a couple of takeaways, I guess, would be, frequency is important, but really consistency and value of the email are probably more important than necessarily frequency.
Yeah.
So stay consistent and make sure that what you're putting in there has value, right?
Yes. And the last thing we should probably throw out is if someone did want to change from a monthly to a weekly, right? They might want to let people know. They might want to let people know ahead of time and say, hey, you know what? We've gotten a lot of feedback on the newsletter and everybody loves it so much that we're going to start doing this on a weekly basis. And again, kind of preempting anybody being kind of shocked or upset.
Right.
I would never tell anybody don't try. Like, try frequency and see how it works out for you. But you definitely don't want to switch back. You want to sustain the course for a while.
Right. Well, you got to give it a chance to see if it's really working or not.
Exactly.
Sending once or twice on whatever the frequency may be, and then saying, "Well, it's not working for me." It doesn't work. Yeah. It's just like running a Facebook ad for 2 days and saying, "Hey, I didn't get 100 customers, so I'm out."
Yeah, exactly.
That's not it not working. That is you not giving it a chance. Right. So, all right. So great. When you're creating your emails, when you're sending your emails, take into account your audience, make sure you're providing value, and be consistent.
Boom.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today, Doug. Appreciate it.
You bet.
And if you guys have any questions, want to learn more, you can contact us at info@agentsauce.com or visit us at agentsauce.com. Thanks and have a great day.